Howdy folks, welcome to my special edition video that I wanted to make because I'm totally preoccupied with trying to do stuff and I can't just go off into La La Land and crazy YouTube video land. I gotta try to make some fucking money. And so if y'all want to know how I make my money, what I do is I gotta take some art seriously. And this ain't about hot dog heads or, you know, folk art tragedies. This is about real painting, at least the best I can fucking muster right now. And what it is the paintings like this. And this is going to go into a massive calendar project I'm working on. The way I see it, a calendar is just 4 or 12 paintings that you produce, and this is very regional. Everything about this is regional. It deals with regional folklore that I like, stuff that I think is important in the Big Bend. And I'm going to address some issues. This might be a big 2 or 3 long section series about West Texas, the Big Bend, the concept of tourism, or what's the word, gentrification of this area. This is the first one. The first one in the series. I don't know if y'all can see it, but there's a guy here. This old Hispanic guy, and he's sitting there and he's got the barbed wire, and he's mending the fences, and there's an old dog right here. Now, if y'all can recognize this figure, but I can thank this figure. This figure is lens from an Eric Maximus video, and this is going to be the first painting in the my calendar series. You know, at least the one I can get done with, because man, these things are bitches to get done with. And so, constantly adding stuff, pulling stuff from it. It's just, I mean, it's difficult painting. So this is the first one. It's called the Fence Mender, the Pregnant Dog. So we got a dog out there. This dog is always pregnant all the time. So she's an old hound dog, and she's got her. She's kind of pregnant here. But that's painting number 1. I got 3 more. So this one here, this is the second one. And it's not done. I'm trying to, and that's the only one that's done. I got 3 more that is in the wake of trying to get done. And this one is a painting of a Cowboy Kelly. You know, one of the stories about Cowboy Kelly is he dug his own grave. He actually used a backhoe. He didn't use a shovel. But I like the idea of you digging your own grave. And these are the stumps. Over by his entrance over here, he's got like a tree with a stump in it, and you got the 3 like buzzards, these West Texas buzzards, or they'd call them vultures, you know. 3 vultures, 2 stumps, 1 character digging his grave in the middle of the sun, and there's a storm coming, and there's this hole, you know. I think it's a good painting, and I just gotta get his face, and I gotta get this whole figure sort of worked in. But that'll be. You see now, the third painting is this one by this guy. I came from a story. A guy named Blair Pittman. I read about it in this book he wrote. It's called Suicidal Goat. I don't know if y'all can see this painting, but you know, part of the painting is that there's this goat that's being drugged into this pit here, and these 2 guys here. And you know, the story goes is that these 2 over in Terlingua, there's these old, you know, miner shafts. And these 2 guys are sitting around drinking, and they were looking down this miner shaft, and they wanted to know how deep it was. Dropping stuff down there to try to figure out how deep this well was. And they grabbed like a tire or something, I don't know. Eventually they threw a log down this thing. Then all of a sudden a goat come running up and jumped in the pit. And this other guy came up and said, "Hey, have you seen my goat? It was tied to an old log." And so that's kind of the humor of it, you know. It's like, that's West Texas humor for you. So this goat was dragged and went down this freaking pit here. I thought it was a pretty good visual story. Now the last one is, it's like a porch scene, and there's this old guy here playing a ukulele. You got this goat drinking this beer with all these Lone Star bottles. There's an Eric Maximus character. I think that's what's his name, drinking a beer. I got that guy's name. He's drinking a beer. That's a silhouette of him. And then you got who's a known character here in town who plays ukulele. And you got Henry Clay, who is the goat. So over in Lajitas, this other town right up the road. So over in Lajitas, they used to have this goat. It was the mayor of Lajitas that drank beer until all these animal rights people went bonkers, started protesting about it. It was a tradition. It's been ongoing for decades. They even had a line of this goat that drank beer all the time. You'd go there and give it a long start and guzzle it down. Well, the goat became an alcoholic, and so they started. It just became a site, so tourist attraction. And of course, in contemporary society, all these people who pitch a fit, and of course, Lajitas in their ultimate wisdom decided it was a bad tourist gimmick and part of this suburbanization or pacification of this area is making all these rough things about Texas soft for tourism. And so, if anything, in my political philosophy about things is that this is the battle that's been going on here, is that things are becoming softer and nicer, consumer friendly, which I don't really think is a good idea for West Texas. And to me, I have a certain political outlook that is, you don't need to kiss the ass of the consumers. Fuck the consumer. One time when I was in Marathon, I'm actually going over to Marathon here this weekend. I gotta resolve some shit. I got some shit I want to get through, and I'm taking these 4 paintings. I'm gonna profile them out as my Big Ben calendar project, and there's gonna be a bunch more. But one thing that I learned in Marathon is that one time I was out there hanging out. It must have been like now, hot as shit out in the desert. And so I think James gave me a German. It wasn't brown. He gave me a German chocolate cake. It had been frozen in his freezer for I don't know how long. Someone gave it to him. And so I had this German chocolate cake, and I was walking around, and I was eating this thing. It was frozen. It was like ice cream. So I was walking around out in this parking lot, eating this German chocolate cake. Basically, all I had on was my little shorts, or whatever. And I was eating it, and it's after a while, in the middle of the afternoon, eating German chocolate cake, just like, ugh. I just didn't like the taste of the sweetness. I just threw it on the ground, spit it out, and just kept walking. Well, apparently some people were watching me do this over at this place called Adobe Rose, and the keeper of the place was like, "Oh God, this dude's out there acting gross in the middle of the parking lot, this little dirt parking lot next to the railroad." And the 3 or 4 people there, older women, came there from Houston or whatever, and they go, "Is it safe to be here? Because there's this look like a homeless bum that's out there eating chocolate cake, And this guy's cracking up, saying, "Well, this is really what West Texas is like. You can do what you want out here. You can be insane. No one's gonna fucking call the goddamn cops to come and arrest you because you're acting weird. You can do this. This is West Texas. This is what's allowed out here. This is actually what should be promoted." As if you're getting scared, fuck you. That's basically my view about it. And so anyone, there's all kind of crazies out there in West Texas, and anyone who comes here to try to get rid of them because it just seems to be too uncomfortable, fucking eject them. Get rid of these people. You have the rights to your own insanity. You can do what you want out here. Ain't no one gonna harass you over this crap. Call the mental health experts or authorities or the county and come here and arrest you because you're making people feel uncomfortable. This is what Texas is about. This is a dying thing, and I think people should fight for it because it's here. And so the kind of paintings I want to make kind of illustrate these kind of scenarios, like Kelly Pruitt, him digging his own grave. I think that's a great symbol for the cowboy's life. And if it's not considered proper or pleasant, sort of slowly winding them down. And it's going to take some time to get these guys done, that's for damn sure. But I'll be gone for a while. I might do. I have one thing that's bothering me out there in the desert, and I might continue making some wire sculptures. But stay tuned, folks. There's more to come. Adios.